What's up, everyone? ODC here, and I am here with my own personal Star Wars The Black Series list of figures I'd like to see in the near future, whether it's end of 2019 or going into 2020 and in the further future. I feel like some of these on this list should have been made, and then some of the others are personal preference, and then some of the others are ones I can see being made. Hopefully, we get them all eventually. Seeing as we get so many duplicates of the same old character over and over again, I would like to see them dive a little bit deeper. Maybe very Marvel Legends-esque, getting a little bit more obscure with some characters and making the line a little bit more fun than just getting another Luke. And don't get me wrong, I love Luke, he's my favorite character, but getting another Luke, getting another Han, even at this point, getting another Lando, I would still love a General Lando, though. But anyway, the point is, we're trying to spread out through this galaxy that is so huge, and it would be nice to see an influx of, more variety here. I know we're starting to get more, and I know they still have to do the new sequel stuff, but I would like to see some stuff that really hasn't been touched on, or stuff that has been given to us already that doesn't really have any place on a display shelf. But let's just get into it right away. Starting off with the Commando Droids. These are droids from the Clone Wars era and the Clone Wars TV show. And this is just a whole bunch of droids on this list, and these are some of them I would love to see. Highly efficient, highly deadly, even used by Darth Vader in the comics. Just so well done, and I feel like these figures deserve a shot at getting made. But moving on, next we have the Super Battle Droids. I mean, how can you not have, how could you have all these Clone Wars, and we have so many Clone Wars figures, but we have all heroes and no villains? Really, the only villain we have is essentially Jango Fett. So, and the battle droids, that's the B1 battle droids, or B2 battle droids, excuse me. We need these super battle droids. We need to start building more for our heroes to fight. And I think the super battle droids would help fill out that shelf. Next, moving on, we've got the Gian Ocean here, and you're going to get a big shot of his crotch, but that's pretty much it. Just need Gian Oceans. Next up, we've got Count Dooku, and what is going on where we have not got Count Dooku at this point? The guy's got his own comic. The guy's been featured in 2 of the major films, in episode 2 and 3. Was in a large portion of the Clone Wars. Why haven't we got him? We need a Count Dooku. Next up is the IG-100 droids. We need these droids, man. If we just got Grievous, and I feel like if we get Grievous, we'll probably get Dooku. You got to give us these 2. I think these would be figures that a lot of people would be clamoring for. Next up is Asajj Ventress. Why have we not got Asajj Ventress? This is what I'm talking about. You see your shelf and you're like, wow, we got a whole bunch of clone troopers and great clone commanders. Awesome. And some Jedi. Awesome. It's still like a Kit Fisto, but we don't have a lot of villains. So this is we need our villains. This is mostly predominantly a villains list right here. Because we just don't get that many of them, unfortunately. We get a whole bunch of Kylo Rens, but no Asajj Ventress, no Count Dooku. We need more. Next up is going to be a fan favorite, and I feel like he should have won the fan vote, which is Wedge Antilles. I mean, there's not really much to say here besides I know a lot of fans want to see him made. It's an original trilogy character, and it's one that I'd like to see on my shelf. Maybe essentially getting more down the line from the pilots. Next up could be a 2-pack. It's Ponda Baba and Dr. Evazan. I could definitely see this being an exclusive 2-pack of some sort, whether it's a Walgreens exclusive, whether it's a GameStop exclusive. I don't really care. I mean, I just need and want these two, and I would like to see some more from the Cantina scene. More characters, maybe dipping, like I said in the beginning of the video, getting more obscure. Next up, we've got Bodi Rook. I don't understand why this guy has never been made. I'm pretty sure he's the only hole left in the Rogue One group, and we need this guy. I mean, why? What are we waiting for here, Hasbro? They should have been released when the movie was out, while it had momentum, and now they're going to release him years later, and it's probably not going to sell well, so he's probably going to have to be an internet exclusive or some sort of exclusive. Next up is a big hitter for me. It is Darth Malgus. This is a personal preference thing for me. I mean, we got Darth Revan, and I would just love a Darth Malgus, and I just... Malgus is one of my favorite characters from the Star Wars franchise, period. And I would just love a figure of him. We got a 3 3/4 inch figure of him. We've got a 12-inch figure of him from Sideshow Collectibles. We need a 6-inch. I need that 6-inch figure. And I'm sure a lot of people would love a Darth Malgus. I mean, his overall design, his character, everything about him is pretty awesome. And I would just adore Hasbro for doing it. This is another one where I could see it being maybe a store exclusive or maybe an online exclusive. Next up, I think you guys know where I'm headed here. It's Bastila. I mean, we've got to get her. You've given us Revan now, and I know it was a fan vote, but come on, man. I mean, it will sell. Revan sold pretty well for Hasbro, and I like to think that Bastila, I mean, as long as you're adding to the shelf, Revan needs someone to stand with on my shelf. You know, essentially I have him standing there with a custom Darth Malak, and that's about it. And keeping the theme going, we need HK-47. I mean, come on, man. Why another guy that you could just fill up the shelf with the Knights of the Old Republic and the Old Republic? I would even just combine the shelves, to be honest with you. I know they're two totally different times, but essentially, when it comes to these, I would love to get them. Next up, we've got Darth Nihilus. I mean, why not? If you're gonna go out with a bang, you know, or well, you're not going anywhere, but if you're gonna go with a smile, as the Joker would say. And this would put a smile on my face, to be honest with you, getting him. But moving on, this is my last portion of the video, and this is pretty much my idea would be do a 2-pack here, celebrating the Shadow of the Empire video game. You can do Dash Rendar and you can do Prince Xizor, and I feel like it works perfectly. And I'm sure a lot of people would love to get this in their hands and put this on their shelf. And I was a huge fan playing this as a kid and loved it. I still think it's, you know, a lot of people like to crap on the video game itself. For the time, it was one of the better Nintendo 64 games, period, for the time. And everyone loved playing this game, even though it had its flaws. Sometimes, you know, with textures and stuff like that, or you'd fall through the world or whatever. But the point is, sticking with the figures at hand here, I'm pretty sure a lot of people love Dash Rendar. And I know a lot of these figures that I've chose on here, are majority of them are legends now. I still think it could work. So there's my list. Let me know what you guys think. What would your list be composed of characters that you would like to see in the near future? For me, like I said, some of these, the majority of these might just be personal preference. But overall, I really feel like I'm not asking too much by having these made. I think some of them make sense, especially Bodi. I feel like Bodi, Ponda Baba, Dr. Evazan, and the majority of the rest of the characters I picked here are pretty, you know, I would say pretty decent in demand. If they were put on a poll, I'm sure they would get a decent amount of votes. And but yeah, let me know what you guys think. What would your list compile of? And I'm pretty interested to see what you have to say about it. But thanks for watching the whole video. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you guys on the flip side.